Everybody talks about Eddie Van Halen's ferocious tapping and wild whammy bar tricks, but there's so much more to his style that you could use in your playing right now. In this video, I'm going to show you how to sound more like Eddie Van Halen without ever tapping or grabbing a whammy bar. Today's video is brought to you by IK Multimedia and the 1978-79 collection. Let's go. Eddie had those blues shuffles and dance songs in his DNA after growing up playing hundreds, if not thousands, of shows. If you want to write something that's Van Halen-y, but you're struggling, let's not think about Van Halen. Let's think about ZZ Top. Eddie was able to take that Billy Gibbons vibe and pour jet fuel on it. It's got swing, it's got swagger, it's got vibe. You take a listen to Hot for Teacher and LaGrange, and there's a lot of similarities in their vibe, because I think Eddie was playing a ton of covers. Not to take anything away from anybody, because, you know, that's how music grows. But, you know, you could take some sort of ZZ Top, like... And then you speed it up. And maybe throw in some pull-offs. And some open string chug. One of Eddie's secret weapons was using repeating patterns across the strings with symmetrical shapes. I believe this came from his love of Allan Holdsworth, and Allan's lines are super hard to pick out, especially before we have digital technology to slow things down and isolate it. If you're stuck with a record and trying to figure out Allan Holdsworth lines, it's brutal. So maybe one day you're trying to come up with something Allan Holdsworthy, so you stretch your hands out like he does and see what happens. When I'm building symmetrical lines, I tend to think in pentatonic frameworks because it's easier to see the wide stretches, and you'll get these double up notes. So that sometimes sounds a little weird, but it also sounds interesting to the phrasing, so keep that in mind. Honestly, play with this. Like, you can figure them out ahead of time, but also just like stretch your hands out and see what happens. You know, you can play off of like some major scale stuff. That kind of vibe. Or, you know, like in Ice Cream Man, Ed just has this wide stretch. I don't even know. That kind of thing. And I'm not sure if that's it exactly, but I just stretched my hands out nice and wide. Ooh, look how cool that sounds. Sometimes it just works. Eddie was a master at squeezing some incredible music out of some pretty basic building blocks. He always underplayed how much musical theory and knowledge he knew. He said, well, I know major and minor, but he had 10 years of pretty intensive piano lessons growing up, like European-style piano lessons, until he switched over to guitar. And that stuff sticks with you, harmonically shapes how you hear things. So take this, for example, if you're a kind of guitar player that mostly sticks with these kind of bar chords. Nothing wrong with that, but that doesn't sound very Van Halen-y, and there's not a lot of harmonic information in there. So if you switch your bar chords to triads, we're gonna look at some triads with a 5th or 6th string root, with the root being on the lowest note. Here is the 1 of the chord, the root, the major 3rd, and the 5th. And the minor would lower that 3rd a half step. See how things in the room just got sad? Bummer. Oh, everything's better now. So instead of playing, maybe try switching some of it over to triads and see where that leads your ear. Don't limit yourself just to those 5th and 6th string root triads. Find them everywhere on the neck. They sound fantastic. Ed loved using the triads in the D, G, B string section, these 3 strings here. Now let's talk about tone a little bit. Lower the string gauge. Yes. Well, for starters, lower your tuning. Ed was very often, if not always, in E flat tuning. So everything's down a half step, which loosens up these strings. These are 10s. I would normally maybe put 9s on here, which gives you that supernatural bending ability. You could get huge wide vibrato going as well. But in order to do that, you should maybe think about using even a thinner pick. This is, I don't know where I got this. It's obviously a Eddie branded pick. Super thin, but it helps. If it's a heavy pick, they just sound different. The way the light pick slaps, the way it slaps the notes, and it passes by the string super fast. You could get a really quick attack because there's not that much material going. You just want a quick attack. Don't lean into a big chunk off of the side of the pick. You're not really going for that for the Ed tone. You're going for super fast, and especially in these sort of 78, 79 era, Van Halen 1, 2, very fast and sharp. Obviously, bridge pickup, humbucker. You could get really nerdy and go for like the specific humbucker, but one of the things I think is quite cool and helps get to that immediate, really direct, fast, punchy sound that Ed does. Well, it goes straight from the pickup to the volume, and if you could even do away with these, it's gonna take it one step closer. Things just seem to get a little more bright and open and immediate in there. Now, in terms of tone, what I'm using is Dead Nuts 78, 79 tones, man. This is the new IK Multimedia Brown Sound 78, 79 collection. It is dead on Ed tones from 78 and 79. There are no clean tones in this collection, and who'd want them? These are all the dirty brown 78, 79 tones. They did everything they needed to do to dial in these perfect sounds. They got the cabs, they got the speakers, they got the amps, they got the consoles, they got the Vega wireless system. So as you hit that first chord, you will be greeted with a beautiful wall of brown. I could probably phrase that better. You will be delighted by the sonics of these brown tones. And if you're thinking, well, that's close, it's not what I think of, don't worry, there are so many variations, all kinds. Now, to take it one step further, I am using the IK Multimedia Sunset Sound Reverb, which, as we all know, is an iconic part of that brown sound. This is a game changer in your tone quest for that kind of tone. So I'm running direct, I'm going straight into my computer, the DAW, where I have the ToneX plugin, and this is where the collection is coming from, and I'm applying the Sunset Sound Chambers reverb. Of course, you can take this collection and put it in any of your ToneX pedals, the little one, the big one, the plugin, totally fine. You can't bring that reverb with you, but the built-in reverb in ToneX ain't too bad. Check it. Harmonics. Ed was a master at using harmonics and making them just feel like they belonged. He would throw in some actual harmonic, which is lightly touching directly above the fret. You know, when we actually fret a note, we're slightly behind that fret, but you want to be hovering above it and just ever so slightly place, not even place, just barely touch the metal part of the string above the metal part of the fret, and they'll ring out like bells. The easiest place to do it is the 12th fret, 7th fret, 5th fret, and then it gets a little trickier here in the 3rd fret, but there's lots of fun options in here. Another way of making harmonics is to brush against the flesh of your skin, whether it's your index finger or your thumb. I use the thumb. That allows the pick to cross by the string, and then the next piece that comes over is the fleshy part here. Actually, as you can see, when I do harmonics, they get really close to each other, so it's almost mostly thumb. That's no pick. Harmonics almost come out just by rubbing your thumb on it. So if you pick and bring that thumb, it'll create a harmonic. It's one of those things you have to just sit and annoy your family with and keep practicing until you find it. And then once it clicks, it's like snapping or whistling. You're like, oh yeah, I could do this on call. Now, Ed, on those early albums, he, and I imagine he got this from Billy Gibbons, slight harmonics, which now this is the next level. Instead of just making a harmonic, you slightly do it. Which means you use less of your thumb. It's a real fine tuning here you gotta do. But it gives you that ZZ Top. Without making the whole of the note disappear. Ed would do it often. It also gives you a great edge to your notes. But you have to be careful not to overdo it, because at some point you'll just be known as the harmonic guy. And it's like, can you play a real note for once, please? Slide into your bends. This is an Eddie thing that, especially if you see like Live Without a Net, their live video. Ooh, it's getting hot in here. He will slide up into the bend. It kind of, if you had a whammy bar and went woo, it creates that sort of vibe. We're gonna bend up to the E on the 15th fret of the B string. That's the plan, so we're sliding up this B string. You're not going to re-pick the note. And then you want to try and bend up that whole step and get a nice, smooth, wide vibrato. Ooh, I missed. I got the 14th. It's a real explosive way to get into a bending note. Thank you to IK Multimedia for sponsoring this video. Definitely check out the Brown Sound 78-79 collection. It is, I mean, It's the brown sound. It is really great. They nailed it on these captures. If you're gonna pick up the collection, please use my affiliate link. If you know, it doesn't cost you anything. You take money from IK Multimedia and put it in my pocket. All those cents are important. But most importantly, if you like this kind of video, please like and subscribe. And hey, down in the comments, let me know, do you have a favorite Eddie lick that is not tapping or whammy bar based? I would like to hear it.